Hey, friends and family, thanks for tuning in for tonight's Thursday Night Thought. And tonight's thought comes to you from Texas, where my family and I just moved. And you can see in the background there are boxes galore in this room. And yeah, a little crazy to be unpacking boxes every day, and kind of fun too, because you find things that you never expected. So, the message last week about change was super encouraging and inspiring for me to get through this last week. And then this week, I woke up on Monday morning to a message that I really had no idea was a part of me, but it came from a dream, and it was a really clear message about judgment. So if you or someone you know are facing judgment or experiencing self-judgment on some level, this message is for you. And the message is this: do not fear being judged, for judgment only hurts when you make it about you and agree with it. When in truth, judgment is about a wound within another being expressed to you. Therefore, claim your innocence for them to see theirs, and do not fall into the trap of judgment. So I woke up from this dream, and in the dream, I saw how judgment is a literal trap. It's something that you can get caught in. And it starts with number one, not expressing these greater parts of ourselves for fear of judgment, or not expressing the authenticity or the gifts and the talents and all these things that we have, and striving to be our greater selves for fear of judgment, because judgment can hurt. And if you've ever been in a place where you've been judged, or maybe you're being judged now, or you've experienced that on some level, it can be very painful. But I saw very clearly in this dream that the only reason why judgment is painful is because we somehow find a way to agree with it on some level. Because the truth is, in the dream, I saw it so clearly how judgment is actually a person looking at a reflection of themselves. And if you think about it, when someone is casting a judgment, they have to have something to judge from, right? They have to have a point of reference. And so when someone is making a judgment, they are making a judgment based on their experience, based on their personality, based on how they were raised, based on so many different things. But it's all coming from a self reflection. It's coming from a place of basing what it is they're judging us from. And it can be very painful when it's very painful to the person. So this wound is being expressed, but it's being expressed to a mirror. So we, as the person who might be being judged, the way to deal with that and not fear being in that place is by recognizing that we're just providing a mirror for their own wound. And when they express the judgment, to say, that's not me, that's not what I believe. And the example I have to give you is actually, I didn't quite understand how this message was going to apply this week. And then I realized I was so excited to share this move and to share this beautiful home and the location that we're in, that all of a sudden there was this part of me that feared sharing it for, I don't know if it was fear of judgment, what it might have been, but there was this part of me that was really holding back on some level. And then I thought, what is it I'm really afraid of? And I realized that it did come down to judgment, because there was still a part of me that was still wounded in some way in looking at this experience of being in our home, in moving, and all of these different things that have been going on. And so until I looked at that and said, okay, I'm going to deal with that within me, whatever that fear is bringing up, and recognize that that's an untruth. And then I can step out and share it. And when I did, so many people were loved it. Most people, we love and celebrate and get excited when people are in a great place in their life. But for some people, it brings up wounding. And I've had to realize that I'm not responsible for being a mirror of their own wounding. None of us are. When there is judgment, it is a mirror. But we don't have to be responsible for being a mirror. We are all mirrors of others' judgment, and there's a freedom in that. So that means that we can live our life. And the greatest example I saw this week, because I don't know if your family is attached to the TV watching the Winter Olympics like our family is, but man, was I excited last night when I saw Mikaela Shiffrin and her story about being on TV and just somehow putting out there that she wanted to have 5 gold medals, right? And then the pressure that that created on her and the judgment that came down on her and her talking about her own self-judgment and what it is she's dealing with and the authenticity of that. There was something really freeing about that experience and hearing all these comeback stories and seeing all this change that's going on of people really stepping in and owning our gifts and talents and stepping into our greater selves. There's a really incredible, exciting part of that. And that's something that my family and we continue to strive. My husband talks about leaving a 500-year legacy to our children. Like, I want to be proud of that and get excited about that. And if that brings up a wound within somebody else, I need to realize that that's not my issue to deal with. And it's okay, because guess what? It's bringing up the wound for them to heal it within themselves. So there's a beauty in that. And that's what I create self-awareness and responsibility in on a daily level in my own life. So how beautiful that can bring up this ability to get past these wounds. And we're all experiencing them. And the more we talk about it, the more awareness we bring to that experience of judgment. So this week, if you're holding back on any level of anything you have feared in judgment, I encourage you to step out and just be true to you. And the more true we are to ourselves and to our souls and the expansion of that, I feel that is going to become the mirror that others are able to look into and find that within themselves. That's our Thursday night thought. And I look forward to sharing our next Thursday night thought together.